This is chapter 14. You should be in theory 3 if you're looking at this. So the 5-7 chord. We're going to be dealing with the 7th and how to treat the 7th, specifically in this chord. One of the most common mistakes that students make, the 7th of a chord gets confused with the 7th scale degree, the leading tone, or the subtonic, in a chord. In this case, in the 5-7 chord, we have both a leading tone and a 7th. So let's dissect a 5-7 chord. In a 7 chord, we have a root, a third, a fifth, and a 7th. All right, so the 5 chord. The root is going to be the 5th scale degree, Sol. Third is going to be the 7th scale degree, T. Fifth is going to be the 2nd scale degree, Re. And the 7th is going to be the 4th scale degree, Fa. So we have the dominant pitch, the leading tone pitch, and yes, the leading tone. I'll get back to that in a sec. We have the supertonic, and we have the subdominant. Now, something we should observe about the 5-7 chord is the quality of the chord. So this means this is a major triad, and the 7th, the distance from the root to the 7th, is a minor 7th. Sometimes there's confusion as to the accidental that the 7th pitch should have. Maybe there's a sharp in the key signature, but you want a natural. A lot of people neglect accidentals, and a lot of times I think that's due because they are not too sure of how to check for the interval. Let me show you how to do that. There's an easy method. It's called inversion, interval inversion. If you remember back to theory 1, I believe this was shown in chapter 3 maybe. When you have an interval of a first, you flip it, it becomes an interval of an 8th. A second, flipped, becomes interval of a 7th. Third becomes 6th and vice versa. Fourth becomes a 5th and vice versa. A major interval, or a major quality, is going to turn into a minor interval and vice versa. A perfect interval is going to remain perfect. That's why they're perfect. A diminished quality is going to turn into an augmented quality and vice versa. Okay. C to D, 2 half steps or 1 whole step. This is a major second. What happens when we go D to C? Where's my C? Here. D to C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It becomes a 7th. But what kind of 7th? Well, so D to C. So that's 1 whole step, 2 whole steps, 3 whole steps, 4, 5. That's 5 whole steps. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 half steps. Now, it's kind of a drag to count this much. So let's say we had C sharp to D. C sharp to D. Now that's a half step away, so this is a minor second. Now when we invert this, this should become a major 7th. D to C sharp. See how here we go D natural to C natural, and we had a minor 7th. That C just went up a half step, so now it's a major 7th. Right? Now what about C flat to D? C flat to D is an augmented second. When we flip that, it should become a diminished 7th. D to C flat. Let's go back to our naturals. D natural, C natural was a minor 7th. We went down a half step to a diminished 7th. The interval became smaller. Now, let's relate this back to the quality of the 7th, because this is something you're going to have to do later. If not this chapter, then definitely chapter 17, secondary dominant. To find the quality of the 7th, just take the root and put it next to the 7th. So let's say we're in C major, G, B, D, F, right? Root 3rd, 5th, 7th. What's the quality of the 7th? I don't know, but I can figure out F2G, which is F2G is a whole step, right? 2 half steps. That's a major 2nd. What's the inversion of a major 2nd? A minor 7th. So that is a minor 7th. Easy. All right. Be sure that you are familiar with this method, because it will save you. A lot of people, a lot of students, what they do to gauge the quality of the 7th is they gauge the quality of the interval between the 5th and the 7th. That's gonna lead you down a wrong path, especially when you start dealing with diminished triads, like you will in chapter 16 in secondary leading tone chords, where you have to determine whether what you have is a half diminished or a full diminished. But anyway, I digress. So this is the 5/7 chord, right? We know what's in it. Sol, ti, re, fa. Okay? So let's go to the homework here. So the first exercise is this. The note given in each case is the root 3rd, 5th, or 7th of a 5/7 chord. Notate the chord and root position and name the major key in which it would be the 5/7. Let's pick one. Let's do this one, number 5. Everybody kind of avoids this because of the alto clef. Now, we are given a 3rd. This is the 3rd of a chord. Okay, so that means here's the root, here's going to be the 5th, and here's going to be the 7th. Now let's see what we have. This is F. Whoops. F. This is A sharp. This is C. And this is E. Okay. Now the interesting thing, now you have to look at the quality. We need a major triad with a minor 7th. F, A sharp, C. Is that a major triad? If you said yes, that's wrong. This should be F sharp, A sharp, C sharp. We cannot change the accidental of the given note, so we have to follow it, which means we had to raise the root and the 3rd and the 5th in order for us to have the major quality. F sharp, A sharp, C sharp. Play it in the piano if you have one. So now this is a major triad. Now what about the 7th? E. Okay, let's use inversion method. Let's see if we need an accidental on E or not. Okay, so E to F sharp is how much? 1 whole step, so that's a major 2nd. Okay, so inverted F sharp to E will be a minor 7th. So E natural works just fine. So your answer should be F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, and E natural. Leave it alone. Now we gotta talk about what key signature this would be the 5 of. That's easy. You know how to spell your triads, don't you? So spell a triad where the F sharp is the 5th. I'll give you 2 seconds. So you should have gotten B, D, F sharp, or D sharp if you wanted to go major triad. Doesn't matter, we're just looking for this. B natural, I should say. So, and I guess we should look for the major chord, or the major key signature. So yeah, go spell a major triad for these. So that means the key signature for this is B, because B is the 1 chord. F sharp is the 5th of that 1 chord, which means if you build a chord on it, F sharp is the 5 chord. F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, E. Oops. This, what I'm doing right here, this little layout, keep this in mind. That's gonna come up in chapter 16, secondary dominants. You're gonna be doing this kind of thing quite a bit. And actually what you're gonna be doing there is you're gonna be building a 5 chord on the 5th of the 5. So this would be the 5 of the 5. C sharp, E sharp, G sharp, and B if it was a 7th. But anyway, don't worry about that for now. This is how I found out the key signature where F sharp is the dominant in B major. Okay, simple, right? All right, let's do another one. Let's do this one, number 4. This is the root. Okay, so if that's the root, here's the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th. Notice what I'm doing. I'm just stacking the notes first, and then I'm finding the quality. And what's the quality? Major, minor, 7th. That's what we want. That's what a 5/7 is. That's the quality. Now we start on B flat. Okay, so what's a major triad on B flat? I'll give you 2 seconds. Should be B flat, D, and F. Alright, so now what about the 7th there? A. Is that a major 7th, a minor 7th? Are we going to need an accidental on that? We don't need accidentals on D and F, obviously. So, A to B flat is a half step, isn't it? A half step, which is a minor 2nd. When you flip that, this is going to be a major 7th. So no, we don't want that. We want this to be one whole step away. So this needs to be an A flat. We need to move it back further. Now A flat to B flat, that's a whole step, which is a major 2nd. When you invert that, B flat to A flat, that's the minor 7th. Notice how we went from this B to A natural. Here's A natural. And that's the major 7th. B to A flat. We lowered it by half a step. Look how much closer the pitch is to the root. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. That's one way of looking at it. Okay? So yeah, this is going to need to be A flat. Okay, now what's this going to be the root? What's going to be the key signature for this? Again, just spell a triad, a major triad, where B flat is the 5th of. And I'll give you 2 seconds for that. You should have gotten E flat, G, B flat. So if E flat is the 1, that means we're in E flat major. That's the key signature. How many flats in E flat? 3 flats. B flat, E flat, A flat. Oh, look at that. It's part of the key signature. What do you know? All right. Let's do one more. Just one more. None of these are challenging enough. Let's do this one, number 3. Okay, this is the 7th. Okay, 5th, 3rd, root. There we go. Starts on A. A, C, E. We need major, minor, 7 quality. A, C, E. Is that a major triad? If you said yes, go to jail. It should be A, C sharp, E. That's the major triad. Learn your triads if you haven't already. Okay, now what about the 7th? A to G. Okay, how about G to A? Is that a major 2nd? Yes, it is. Inverted, you get a minor 7th, so we don't need an accidental on that. Or on the root for that matter. That would have changed the 3rd for sure, interestingly enough. Okay, so this is A. That is the 5. What's a triad where, a major triad where A is the 5th? D. D, F sharp, A. So the key signature for this would be D major. 2 sharps. F sharp and C sharp. And G natural. Alright. That's enough of this. Now the next segment of homework, we're not going to do this. You can analyze this on your own. Is this. This is what we're going to be doing next. Now let's look at what we have. We have a 5-7 chord resolving to 1. As it should be, as it would be normally. If you remember back to theory 2, in the circle of fifths progression, 5 goes to 1. It can also go to 6, but we'll talk about that later when we get to it. But for now, 5-7 to 1. How to resolve it? Now you notice the C and the C, the C and the I. It says here C means complete chord, I means incomplete chord. We'll get to that. Alright. Now also notice both of these chords are root position. All of these chords are in root position, meaning we're going to have a segment of homework here where they're going to be inverted somewhere like here. We'll talk about that. So let's go back to the whiteboard here. Alright, so a 5-7, I'm going to spell it vertically. Root, 3rd, 5th, 7th. This is Sol, Ti, Re, and Fa. It is understood that this is 5th scale degree, 7th scale degree leading tone, 2nd scale degree, and 4th scale degree when I do this. Alright? This is just the order of the tertian harmony. Now let's look at the 1 chord in major. We have the root, 3rd, and the 5th. We're not talking about 1-7, so it's just a triad. We have Do, Mi, and Sol. Now, we have a common tone between these two chords, and that's Sol, right? Normally, Sol would stay as a common tone. Now, the interesting thing that happens here is that we're going from root position to root position, meaning that Sol is going to have to go to Do, right? Okay, so that takes care of that. The 7th of a chord. This is the most important part of this chapter. Treating the 7th properly. What do 7ths do? 7ths go down a step. Whether it's a half step or a whole step, depending on the key signature or the situation that you're in. You know, it doesn't matter. It goes down. Okay, so if Fa goes down, Fa is going to go down to Mi, to the 3rd of the 1 chord. Okay, that leaves us, so we have So and Fa, we know where they're going. That leaves us with Ti and Re. Okay, remember this. Ti goes to Do, Re goes to Do. What about Sol? What about Sol? There's no room for it, you know. And I guess I should mention in 4-part writing, Do would be doubled, you know. So both of these would go to the same Do, and this would go to a different octave Do. Anyway, so yes, we ended up with 3 roots and 1/3. In other words, when we do the voice leading properly and naturally, very naturally, we get a complete chord to an incomplete chord. Okay? Now what if I wanted a complete chord to a complete chord? Alright, so let's talk about that. Let me do this here. Same thing. 5-7. Here's the root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, Sol, Ti, Re, Fa, going to the 1 chord, Do, Mi, Sol. Alright. Root position, there's nothing we can do about it. Sol has to go to Do. 7th of the chord always goes down a step, always and forever, nothing we can do about it. That's going to go down to Mi. Okay. Ti. You know, Ti is kind of close to Sol. I mean, it's only a 1/3 away from Sol. how far away is re from sol? It's a fifth or a fourth if you invert the interval. So if you want to go from complete to complete, T, and make sure that T is in an inner part, either the tenor or the alto, because if it's in an outer part, you'll have to resolve it to do, right? But if it's in an inner part, tenor or alto, you can take that down a third to sol. Never up a sixth. Don't do intervals of sixth, all right? And then re would just go to do. No, re does not go to mi, if that's what you're wondering. Otherwise, we would double the third, and we would much rather double the root, right? So this is how you do complete to complete. Root position 5/7 to 1 chord. Take T a third down to sol, and then 1 chord. Right? Let's put this on paper, on staff. I'll do it like this. Right, so C major, 5/7 chord to 1 chord. We're going to do the natural voice leading, complete to incomplete. All right, and what's my 5/7 chord? It's G, B natural, D, F. My 1 chord is C, E, G. All right, here's sol. Well, actually, not yet. Let's do it like this. Sol, re. Okay, so let's take inventory now. Here's sol. This is D. This is what is it? Re. F, which is fa. B, which is T in the melody, in the alto. All right. Further inventory. This is the root. This is the fifth. This is the third, and this is this is the seventh, and this is the third. Okay. We're gonna go to the 1 chord. This is gonna go down to C or up to C. I'd rather take it down to C. Okay, so that takes care of that. What do we do next? The 7th. What do 7ths do? They move down a step. Bam. So we have the root, and we have a third. Do and mi. Okay, T goes to do, re goes to do. Do, do. Do, and do. Root, root. So we ended up with 3 roots and 1/3, which is an incomplete triad. But this is the natural voice leading. This is perfect voice leading for it. Now let's talk about complete to incomplete. This configuration is not going to work if we are to go to a complete 1 chord. Why? Because T in a going to a complete 1 chord, we're going to need T to be in an inner part, right? So let's do this configuration now. Okay, so here's the root, G, which is sol, D, this is the 5th of the chord, which is re. We have B, the leading tone, which is the 3rd of the chord, and we have the 7th of the chord, which is fa. Okay, we have a complete 5/7 chord again in root position. We're going to go to a complete 1 chord in root position. So first things first, the bass. So goes to do. Second thing is second. First thing is second, I should say. Most important. What do 7ths do? They move down a step. This is going to go to E. So we have do, we have mi. This is the 3rd, this is the root. Okay. T goes to do, re goes to do. We'll take re to do, but hold on, cowboy. We can't take T to do, otherwise we have an incomplete triad. we have to frustrate the tendency of the leading tone, take it down a third to G, which is So, the fifth of the chord. Now look at that, 2 roots, a third, and a fifth. This is how you do complete to complete. Makes sense? Let's put this in practice. Oh, and I should mention, when you have an incomplete 5/7 chord, it's very easy and very natural to end up in a complete 1 chord. Alright, complete to incomplete. This is our more natural configuration. We have the 5/7 chord. Alright, so we're in B major, so the 5 chord is F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, and E natural. Notice what I'm doing. I'm taking inventory. I want to make sure that I know what I have and where things are. F sharp, root. A sharp, third. C sharp, fifth, and E natural, the 7th of the chord. And just for our purposes. So, T, Re, and Fa. Okay? We're going to go to the 1 chord, which is B. Let's spell the 1 chord. B, D sharp, F sharp, root, third, fifth. Okay? First things first, bass. So goes to Do. Here's Do. 7th, the 7th of the chord. What does it do? If you said it moves up a step, go to jail. It moves down a step. So Fa is going to go to Mi, which is going to be D sharp. Here's Do, Mi, root, third. Okay, T and Re. T goes to Do, Re goes to Do. Bam. Do, root. 2 roots, a third. Sorry, 3 roots and a third. Complete to incomplete. That's how you do that. Make sense? Good. Let's do this one. Okay, so the 5/7 is going to be G, B natural, leading tone, D, F to C, E flat, G. Okay, here's my root, here's my third, here's my 7th, here's my 5th. Root goes to root, C. What do 7ths do? They go down a step. That's Me. T goes to Do, Re goes to Do. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the 7th. Wait, I was reading a different clef, I guess. Okay. T goes to Do, Re goes to Do. And we can do that. Re is in the melody, so that's going to go to Do. I got my wrong stem direction. Call myself a musician. We're going to frustrate the tendency of the leading tone in order for us to have a complete triad. So this is going to go down a third to So, G. So now we have root, third, here's another root, and here's the 5th. 2 roots, a third, and a 5th. Make sense? Good. Let's do an incomplete to complete. Let's see what happens here. Let's do this one in minor, G minor. Okay, so we have 5/7. What's G minor? What's the 5/7 in G minor? That's going to be D, F, A, C. Except we need a leading tone. D, F sharp, A, C. Right? Major, minor 7. Major try with the minor 7. And the 1 chord is of course going to be G, B flat, and D. Okay. Incomplete. Okay, so this is incomplete. We're missing something. We definitely have a third. We definitely have a root. It's in root position. Okay, root, third. Do we have an A, a 5th? Doesn't look like it. We have a C, the 7th of the chord, and we have another root. 2 roots, a third, and a 7th. It's always, the 5th of the chord is always the first one to get omitted, because you really don't need it. You need the third to determine the quality of the triad. The 5th is already kind of implied. You need the 7th to hear the quality of the 7th chord. So those are important tones, so the fifth can be omitted. All right, so the one chord. So we're gonna go so to do. Seventh, what do sevenths do? They go down a step. Here's B flat. Very important. All right, this one's gonna stay. This is a common tone. Remember, and I should have done this. So, T, and this is Fa. So goes to Do, so can stay as so, and that's the fifth of the chord. Root, third, fifth, and this is going to go to the root. T goes to Do. Root, root, third, fifth. Incomplete to complete. All right, so that's all I'm going to do. That's how you do complete to incomplete, which is the natural configuration. Complete to complete, which requires frustration of the tendency tone, of the leading tone. And incomplete to complete, which is going to have two roots in the 5/7 chord, which is going to be so, which is going to be the common tone. That's your fifth that you need in order to have a complete triad in one. Here we have 5/7 to 6. What do we call that? That's deceptive progression. Let's talk about deceptive progression because it's very important. In the 5 chord we have so, Ti, Re, Fa. In the 6th chord we're going to have La, Do, and Mi. Right? And this is just a half step away. Fa is going to go down to Mi. T is going to go to Do. What about Re? Re is going to go to Do. Remember that? T goes to Do, Re goes to Do. That's going to apply here big time. So the result of this 6th chord is that we end up with a root, 2/3, and a fifth. That's how you resolve deceptive progression properly. And yes, even if it's in root position, it hurts like hell not to have a doubled root, but it is perfectly okay to have a doubled third, especially because this is the best voice leading for this. That's the difference between the 1 chord and the 6th chord is so and La. Do, Mi, so, that's the 1 chord. La, Do, Mi is the 6th chord. 2 common tones. Anyway, that's what's gonna be happening in deceptive progression. All right. So move the leading tone parallel with the bass, which is gonna be up by a step, whole step, half step. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Is just gonna go to Do. Treat the 7th of the chord as you always should do. Move it down a step, and then Re, take that down to Do. Okay, so let's look at the homework here. I'm not going to do these. We've already done enough 5/7 to 1. And I'm just going to do the 4-part ones. So these. There is no such thing as complete to incomplete from the 5/7 to the 6th chord. You might have an incomplete 5/7 chord, all right, but for the most part, it's going to be complete. Anyway, let's do this. Let's F minor. Let's start in D major first, all right? All right, so what's my key signature for D major? 2 sharps, right? Assuming this is treble clef and this is bass clef. F sharp, C sharp. Yeah. Okay, so in D, what's the 5 chord? A, C sharp, E, G. What's the 6th chord? B, D, F sharp. A minor chord. Okay. So, Ti, Re, Fa. La, Do, and Mi. Yeah. No, it's Mi. Sorry. Okay. So root position, A is going to be in the root. Here's A. Alright, I'm going to put my 7th here. I'm going to put my C sharp here. And I'm going to put my E in here. Okay, so root, 3rd, 5th, and 7th. leading tone. This is Fa. Sorry, this is T. Yeah, it's still the leading tone, but anyway. The fifth is Re, and this is of course Sol. Okay, let's go to the sixth chord. Sol is gonna go to La, just up a step. The seventh of the chord is gonna move down a step, right? Do I have too much distance? I don't think I do. I think I'm fine. And that went down to an F sharp. So this is Mi. Sorry, I'm still in the one chord configuration, which is the fifth of the chord. This is the root. This is the fifth. Re goes to Do. T goes to Do. Let's move T up to Do. Let's move Re down to Do. Be careful not to have more than an octave in the inner voices. Between the inner voices, you can have as much space as you want between the bass and the tenor, but inner voices, tenor, alto, and soprano, keep them within an octave. All right, an octave's length is fine. All right, so Do and Do, and this is the third of the chord. This we have resolved deceptive progression correctly. All right, B flat minor. Huh. What's the key signature of B flat? Oh, G. I don't know. We rarely use it, so I don't have it memorized. Well, here's a hack. All right. B flat. Now, we know that minor mode is basically Aeolian, which is based on the 6th scale degree of an Ionian chord, an Ionian key signature, which is known as major key signature. Right, so in the major key signature from Do to La is a major 6th, right? What's the inversion of the, so that means this is a major 6th from root, from the Ionian, from the major tonic, the parallel major. What's the inversion of a major 6th? A minor 3rd. So if we go up a minor 3rd, we get D flat, meaning this is the tonic key signature, or the parallel key signature. What's the key signature for D flat? Easy, 5 flats. I know that. So that means 5 flats is the key signature for B minor, B flat minor. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's a hack. We'll try it again. All right, so B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat. B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat. Okay, so the 5/7 and B flat minor, that's going to be F, A, C, E. And the 6th chord, that's going to be G, B flat, D. Oh wait, sorry, G, G flat, B flat, D flat. Key signature. Doi. Okay. Root, 3rd, 5th, 7th. Here's my root. I'm going to put the 5th here. A, the leading tone, I'm going to put it here. And Fa, I'm going to put it there. The 7th, here's the 3rd, here's the 5th, here's the root. Sol, Ti, Re, Fa. Okay, first things first, root goes up to La. What do 7ths do? They move down a step. Brings us down to Mi. It's worth noting, whether you go into the 1 chord or the 6th chord, 7th of the 5 chord is Fa, and it's going to go down to Mi, whether it's Mi in the 1 chord or Mi in the 6th chord, interestingly enough. Okay, T goes to Do, Re goes to Do. B flat, B flat. Yes, this is an octave's length. Hopefully I can do better voice leading in the previous one so that I don't have that spacing issue. In fact, why don't I just switch these? Here's C. And what was that one? That was E. That's better. Fa, and this is Re. That's going to change this one to D. So that's the root, 2/3, and a fifth. La, Do, and Mi. Make sense? Good. Let's do one more. F minor. What's the key signature of F minor? I don't know, but I bet I know the key signature of the parallel major. Okay, so how do I find the parallel major? Go up a minor third. What's a minor third? Up from F, A flat. You can check on your piano. What's the key signature of A flat? 4 flats. B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat. B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat. Okay, 5/7 chord is going to be C, E, G, B flat. E natural. Right? Oh, there should have been an A natural. My bad. Sorry, guys. If you're going to point that out, if you were pointing that out as I was doing it, thank you. I wish I could hear you. Okay, so C, E natural, G, B flat. Okay, I'm going to put my root here. Put my fifth here. B flat. And E natural. Accidental, don't forget the accidental. Alright, so this is root, third, fifth, and seventh of the chord. Right, 7th scale degree, 7th of the chord. Right? Don't confuse them. Alright, this is going to go to La, or Le in this case. 7th moves down a step. That's going to go to Me. T goes to Do, Re goes to Do. F, F. Octaves length. I don't like it, but whatever, you know how to fix it. Just flip one of the voices. Alright. Third, here's the root, here's the fifth. We have done Deceptive progression correctly. For part writing, bass, tenor, alto, soprano. What's our key signature? Is it D major or is it B minor? Our first one is a B, our last note is a B, so this is most likely a B minor. Okay, so this is probably the 1 chord. This is probably the 1 chord. This is probably going to be the 5/7 chord. As experience indicates, this is probably going to be a 7 chord. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Anyway, okay. When doing part writing, I like to do this. I like to spell out the circle of thirds, starting on the tonic. B, D, F, A, C, E, G, and I apply the key signature: F sharp, C sharp. So this is my 1 chord. This is my 3 chord. This is my 5 chord. This is the subtonic 7 chord. We need to raise it. A sharp leading tone. Now it's a 7 diminished chord, which now makes the 5 major chord. C sharp is the 2 diminished chord. E is the 4 chord, and G is the 6 chord. I should point out, if we go G to A sharp, that's an augmented second. This is one of the most common augmented intervals that you'll have in your voice leading. Okay, so 1 chord. 1 chord is B, D, F sharp. Okay, so we have B, D, F sharp, and B. Root position, double the root. What is this? What the hell do I do with this? A 6 and a 6. These are bass, figured bass symbols. These are not meant to throw you off. These are meant to help you. And what these numbers really are, they are intervals. They tell you where the root is. In this case, it's telling you that the root is a 6th above the bass note, which is this. So if we go a 6th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's the bass note, which in a root position triad, it would go here, but since this is an inverted, inversion. This is also indicating first inversion, by the way, right? You know, we can use it as an interval to find the root, which I did. And that root happens to be B. So this is a 1/6 chord. Excuse me. First inversion 1 chord. Alright, so let's mess this around. Actually, let's do all the Roman numerals first, and then we'll worry about taking what where. Okay, so this one, 6. We know that if we go up a sixth, we'll find a root. An easier way is just to stack the triad as we normally would. Right? That's the root position. We know this is first inversion, so the root's here. And the root here is C sharp, which is the 2. So this is a 2 diminished 6 chord. Alright, makes sense. We have a sharp here. This is indicating that there is something is raised. This is root position also. The root for this is in the bass. So we have F sharp, so this is a 5 chord. F sharp, A sharp, C. Alright, so don't forget your A sharp. You can do that too. You have to kind of remind yourself. This is the pitch that's going to get the accidental. Alright, here's a root position chord. Oh, look. This is a root position, so going to lay. This is a 6 chord. Then it's going to, what chord is this? The 4 chord probably. Let's see, it starts on E. Yep, this is the 4 chord. Going to a 5/7 root position. That's F sharp. Going down to 1. All right. So we have deceptive progression. We'll have either complete or incomplete. We'll probably have a complete triad here. We'll see what kind of configuration we'll have, whether it's incomplete or complete. Right? It's good to know this kind of stuff. Alright, so the 1/6. So we're going to reconfigure this. Because going to the 2 chord, it's very easy to just take things up a step. And when we do that, we end up with parallel fifths and parallel octaves. We want to avoid that. That's why we're taking opportunity of the 1/6 chord to kind of move the voicing around, so that when we go to the 2 chord, 2 diminished chord, we can avoid having parallels. Okay, so let's see. My triad is B, D, F sharp. I'm gonna put this here. D, B, D, F sharp. Let's see. I'll keep this as an F sharp. And I'll move this as a B. And now we're using quarter notes. Alright. So here's what I'm going to do. Alright, let's see if it works. Let's see if I can avoid parallel motion, parallel fifths and octaves. Alright, so the 2 diminished 6 chord, that's going to be C sharp, E, G. We have E already. Excuse me. So we're going to need, and of course the doubling rules for first inversion is double anything as long as it's convenient to the voice leading. So we'll see what's convenient to avoid issues. Okay, definitely need a C sharp. Let's take D down to C sharp. Okay, let's take F. Let's take this down to E. And if we take this down to G, let's see, this is a third, this is a second, this is a second. Let's see, F sharp. This is not parallel fifths, right? B to F sharp is a perfect fifth. G to E is a major sixth. So I think we're good. And generally, if you remember back to chapter 6, Principles of Voice Leading, where you're going to, when you have bass movement of a second, you want the upper voices moving opposite to the bass. General. That kind of goes out the window when you have inversions, but you know, it's keep it in mind. You know, it's a nice little rule of thumb. May not always work, again, because we're dealing with inversions. Chapter 6 was about root position to root position movement, specifically. Anyway, now we have the 5 chord, which is F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, E. Oh, sorry, F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, no 7th. So let's see. Keep the common tone, why not? Take this back up to F sharp, and we'll take this up to A sharp. Okay? Don't forget your accidental there. Deceptive progression. Okay, let's take inventory. Sol, Ti, Re, and this is Sol. Okay, Ti moves parallel with the bass. Ti goes to Do, Re goes to Do. B, B. So we're gonna move this down by a step to E. What's the 6th chord? It's gonna be G, B, D. Sorry, a 3rd. So we have 2/3, a root, and a 5th. We have resolved deceptive progression correctly. What happens if we don't resolve it correctly? Well, we'll end up with parallel octaves, or 5ths I should say. So let's say So, we take up to G, and we have 2 roots. F sharp to G, F sharp to G, parallel octaves. So we don't want to do that. We'll take this down. Okay, what happens if we take Re up to D? Let's see. We end up with parallel 5ths between the bass and that. This is F sharp, A, C sharp, that's the perfect 5th. G, B, D. G to D is the perfect 5th. So, yeah, we want to avoid this wrongness, this parallel motion, by just following the rules. Ti goes to Do, Re goes to Do, move the other voice down. By just move it down, basically. Could be a step, could be a leap. Alright. This was a triad to a triad. Now, we're going from root position triad to a root position triad. Let's remember back to our chapter 6, principles of voice leading. We have bass movement of a 3rd. When we have bass movement of a 3rd, we're going to keep 2 common tones. The remaining voice moves by a step, either up or down. That's out the window now. Why? Because we ended up with 2/3 here. Normally in root position, we have the root doubled. Alright, so directions are very clear as to where they go. Let's take inventory real quick before I go on. The 6th chord is G, B, D. The 4th chord is E, G, B. We have 2 common tones, G and B. Alright. Now, if we have 2 Gs, well, let's resolve it as we have it. Okay? So if we keep the 2 common tones, B and G, well, there's no other G to keep, because this root has already moved. This G, there would be 2 Gs in the 6th chord, and there would be 2 E's in the 4th chord. But there's 2 B's instead, because we did this correctly. So now we don't have another G to keep as a common tone. So the rule kind of goes out the window, doesn't it? And that's okay. That's natural. Just do the best voice leading that you can, the most logical voice leading that you can. Take E up here. Let's see, I have B. I'll keep B here. We have 2 roots, E, E. Ah, shoot, I don't have a G. That's a problem. I need a 3rd. I have a B. How do this? This is not a voice cross. Third and fifth. This is why it's important to take inventory. You're able to double check yourself and make sure that you have what you need in a chord. 2 roots, a third, and a fifth. All right, that's okay. This is a leap of a third. Nothing wrong with that, and it's not crossing the previous bass line. All right, so we have done that correctly. All right, now we're going to the 5/7 chord. 5/7 chord is F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, E. We can keep the same configuration. A sharp. You can do a little courtesy accidental. Let your professor know that you are aware that this is supposed to be raised. All right, a little nudge, wink, wink there. All right, let's see. So I had C sharp here. Where I had F sharp previously, I'm gonna keep my E. Now that's the 7th. So I have Sol, Ti, Re, Fa. Root, 3rd, 5th, 7th. Okay, the root has already moved for us. The bass has already moved. 7th. What do 7ths do? They move down a step. That's an E, right? Yeah, so that's going to go down to D. All right. T goes to Do. Re goes to Do. What happens when we have that? We end up with an incomplete triad, don't we? Yes. Root, 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 3rd. Now, if you wanted to end with a complete triad, you would frustrate the tendency of the leading tone and take that down 3rd to D. And you would be... Oh, wait, I do have a D already. Oh, no, to F sharp. I'm sorry. I can't read clefs. To F sharp. And now you have a 5th. And that would be okay. That's not a voice cross. It's a leap. Personally, I'd rather, just resolve the leading tone. Right? But that's an option. All right. So there you go. Voice leading in a nutshell. I hope that made sense. If you had this as an assignment, I hope it helps. Review. Let's move on. This is the last portion of the chapter, or at least of the homework. And the last piece of information that is very important in this chapter, and that is the approach of the 7th of a chord. Right? If you remember back to Theory 2, I think this was chapter 12, the non-chord tones. We had several non-chord tone figures, right? We had the neighbor tone, we had the suspension, we had the appoggiatura, we had a passing tone, we had the escape tone. What else did we have? The neighbor group, that doesn't really apply to us. I'm sure we had something else. Anyway, so the 7th, let's pretend this is the 7th of the chord, not the 7th scale degree, 7th of the chord. That's always going to go down, right? The direction of that is down. That means that the approach of that pitch, the 7th of the chord pitch, should be used as a figure. And the figures that we can use is we can either use a passing tone figure, approach it from a step above, and this now looks like a passing tone. We can approach it from the same pitch, which makes it look like a suspension. We can approach it from the note below it, which would make it seem like a neighbor tone, a lower neighbor, or an upper neighbor. This is the upper neighbor to that. Right, so those are 3 approaches of the 7th chord that we take. That's it. So, that's enough information for you to do this. Okay, so the 5 chord in G minor, G, B, D, D, F sharp, A, C. Don't forget your sharp now. It's not in the key signature. Oh, wait, do we need key signatures here? Include key signatures, yes. Okay, so that's going to be... What's the key signature for G minor? Oh, gee, I don't know. Let's go up a minor 3rd and find out. What's a minor 3rd from G? B flat. Okay, so B flat major is the key signature for G minor. 2 flats, B flat, E flat. Okay, D, F sharp, A, C. So let's put that in. 4-2, that means third inversion 7 chord, right? So C is going to be in the bass. The 7th of the chord is going to be in the bass. Okay, so that's C here. Let's put my A here, F sharp here, and D. So here's my root, my third, my 5th, and my 7th. Right, so here we have Sol, Ti, Re, and Fa. Alright, let's take care of the bass first. What does the 7th do? It goes down a step. So this is going to go down here. Now I'll use half notes for these. Okay. Alright, so that's going to go there. They want a passing figure for this, so that means this chord is going to be approached from above. Alright, now let's figure out what chord we have here, and we'll use this clue here. We went to a, assuming that this is bass clef and this is treble clef, we went to a B. Okay? B, there's a B in the G chord, right? G, B, D. So this is likely a 1-6. It's logical that it should be a 1-6, right? 5 goes to 1. It can go to 6. For the most part, 5 will go to 1. All right, so Sol can stay as a common tone. Ti goes to Do, Re goes to Do. G, G. All right, so we have 2 Gs, my roots. We have a third, and we have a 5th, G, B, D. Oh, look at that, we have a complete. Let me point this out. It's very easy when we're dealing with inversions to have a complete triad, complete a complete, as a very natural recourse. So bear that in mind when you're dealing with inversions, 7 chords, going to the 1 chord. It's easy to maintain the complete configuration because Sol doesn't have to go to Do. Sol can stay as Sol. But let's see, maybe we can use a 2 chord instead, right? 2 goes to 5, or 4 can go to 5 too. 5 as well. So let's see, in the G chord, my 2 chord would be A, C, E. There's no D in that, so okay, so the 2 chord is not going to be an option. What about the 4 chord? G, B, it would be C, E, G, the 4 chord. Okay, so the 4 chord's not going to work. Let's use the 1-6-4. It'll be cadential, and it's fine. Okay, trust me. All right, so 1-6-4. We can keep the same configuration. In second inversion, what do we want to double? The bass, which happens to be the 5th, and we have doubled that already. And I'm going to go here. So we have G, B, and D. All right, that's how we did that. Hope that made sense. The one with the suspension figure. Okay, the 5-4-2. That's G, B, D, F. What's the key signature for C minor? Should be 3 flats. If you didn't know that, you want to go up a minor third here, and that's going to lead us up to E flat. So E flat major is the key signature, so 4 flats. B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat. B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat. Okay? So we have that. Right, so that means we're going to have a B natural here. Did I put my accidental on the previous one? I did. Yes, good. Because I'm a good theory student, that's why. All right, let's see. Let's write this up and then figure out where to go from there. They want this also in third inversion, so F is going to be in the bass. I'll use this F. I'm going to use this B natural here. I'm going to use this G in the alto and D in the soprano. Okay, so here's our root, third, 5th, 7th of the chord. What do 7ths do? They move down a step. This is going to go there. Okay? it's probably going to be another 1/6 chord, and that's okay. And it is. Why not? Make it easy on yourself. Keep the common tone, T and Re. T goes to Do, Re goes to Do. Yeah. Wait, what? G, D. Oh, I'm sorry, that's D is not the common tone. Really, sorry. There we go. T goes to Do, Re goes to Do, complete triad, as we know. Alright, and they want a suspension figure. Okay, so that means we're going to approach the 7th from the same pitch. An F. What has an F in it? A 4 chord in C minor. So let's go from a 4 chord. F, A, C, this is root position. Okay? F, A, C, I'm going to have my C here. I want to keep another F so that I have now just doubled my root. And I'm going to need an A. Oh shoot. You know what? Let me do this instead. Let me put my A here. And my C up here. There we go. That's better. Almost always you're going to end up with this straight line in the voice leading. And you'll probably end up with this or the opposite contour. Easy enough, right? Good. Let's do number 12. The one with the neighbor tone figure. Oh, they make us go to 6 on this one. Alright, that's good. We're in F sharp minor. What's the key signature of F sharp minor? I don't know. Let's go up a minor third. And we get A major. Sorry. F sharp, a minor third. It's A. Key signature of A, we know that for a fact to be 3 sharps. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. Okay? The 5 chord is going to be C sharp, G, B. Oops, G sharp, B. That looks screwed up. Does that look correct to you guys? If you said yes, go to jail. We should have a leading tone. There we go. Now that's correct. Alright, this is 5/7, so it's going to be in root position. So C sharp. I'm going to have my G sharp here. I'm going to put my E sharp here. I'm going to put my accidental here. That's where it should go. And B is going to go there. Okay, so the 6th chord, we know what to do. The bass is going to go up to lay. Alright. T goes to Do, Re goes to Do. Here's T, Do. Which one is Re? E, or no, sorry, G goes to Do. Here it is. And the remaining voice is going to go, what, down by a third? I think, let's see. So this is root, third, what's my 5th? So let's see, F sharp. So this would be D. Yeah, that looks about right. It's gonna move my 3rd, either up or down. All right. The main point is that we resolved it correctly. Let's see, what's the 6th chord again? D, F sharp, A, D, F sharp. Oh, D. Oh, this is incorrect. I should have ended up here. Just move it down by a step. And it's a 5th. There it is. Sorry about that. Okay. Now they want a neighbor tone figure, so where's my 7th? B is the 7th, right? And it went down. Oh my god, I did not do that. The 7th goes down a step. I took it up, you guys. You see how wrong that was? That's points off. Alright? This is why we take inventory. Root, 3rd, 5th, 7th. 7th goes down a step. There we go. Now it's perfect. Alright, so they want a neighbor figure, so if the 7th goes down, it's going to come from that same note. So now we're looking for something that has an A in it. I don't know, the 1 chord has A in it. Why not? F sharp A C. What also has an A in it? Besides the 6 chord. What about the 2 chord? The 2 chord is G, B, D. There's no A in it. Okay, what about the 4 chord? F, A, C. That's going to be B, D, F, A. Yeah, the 4, 7 maybe, but no. Let's stick to the 1 chord. Alright. I don't want to make a huge leap. Let's make it a 1, 6. F sharp A. So we should have an A here. Alright. Here's my F sharp A. Dang it, do I want a 6-4? I don't want to do something weird like this. C sharp to E sharp. Well, that's a major third, so it's not so bad. This configuration should be okay. And that's a leap of a third. And you know what? That's fine. Yeah, this works. I can't think of anything else, but if you think of something else that's better, by all means do it. Alright. The main point is we did with the 7th what we should have. We approached it as an Abertone figure. Alright. So that pretty much concludes the chapter. I hope you are able to complete the rest of this on your own. If you have any questions, consult your professors. If your professors are not available, you can comment in the comment section.